in December, we were on a situationship break. Okay, and he decided to sleep with a girl he was talking to then. I got to find out and I forgave him.
For what? He wasn't your man. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. While ushering the new year, which we got to spend together, he decided to make things official and start a clean slate. Super. Fast forward end of January, that girl he slept with realized she was pregnant and reached out to my boyfriend.
Hi guys, Muruki Muni here.
It's Lydia KM.
And we're back again with another episode of
The Messy In Between.
It's Definitely TMI.
Thank
you. How are you?
Right, straight
Beautiful.
to the point.
Thank you. That's it. We mean business.
Yeah.
We are standing on business.
Standing on business.
On the business.
On the business.
The funniest thing is teaching Zach like what like colloquial things people are saying and him like having his own spin on what it sounds
Tell
like.
me.
Yeah.
Let me laugh. Tell me now.
So like this, you see how the phrase is like standing on business. Yeah, now he'll come and say something like, today I've really stood on my business. Or I've really been standing on the business.
That sounds
and I'm
like my
babe,
mom.
No, like
my mom before.
yeah, or like the other day Ethan taught us. No, it was Nelly who taught us. Like now, when you want to say like you're doing something and you're doing it on your own. Like, oh yeah, I've just been chilling in my room on my ones. So you say on my ones, it's like I'm by myself. You
that
know,
was like old Nini that has come back.
That has come back. Yeah, so he'll come and say something like, yeah, the whole day I've just been on my ones and twos. You know, and it's just like that's not the way.
But we love it.
We love it. He's really trying. Yeah,
He
just by the time you're watching this, he just turned 41.
Yeah,
because this is like next week at the time at which
so
we are
he's
shooting.
Beyond trying.
He is. He's doing what he can.
Yeah, he
Love
doesn't
him.
feel 41 though.
I know.
Not at all.
Just sexy and handsome and works out daily.
I will stop that. But what I would say is that his energy is like more of like a young energy.
And also, this is why it's good to like have kids a bit later because like when you do, they keep you kind of young.
Okay, there's that. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a positive thing.
One thing that my mom always says is before there was, why are you gay?
Yeah.
My mom used to just be like, yeah, he's a gay. My mom used to say a gay, like a tree.
You're a
like
gay.
a table. Yeah, and he's a gay.
I love it so much. I'm always
We love it so much. Like now, it's like never changed. Like,
just remain how you are.
We are.
Thank you.
And we hope you remain the way that you are, guys, by always tuning in here to make sure you're with us on another episode of TMI podcast. Guys, it's been a long time. How many episodes have we done?
This is probably 140 plus.
140 plus, correct?
For sure.
And you're here with us. You know what I was thinking about the other day?
Yeah.
How somebody watches TMI and watches like the trajectory of like our lives and how we change and all the things.
But we are living it. We are living that trajectory.
But now somebody watching all the episodes that way. Like, oh yeah, of course they went to do like the ladies in love. Oh my God.
Oh my God. They broke up. Yeah, actually, I wonder how it is for... The other day, someone messaged me and they're like, I've been following you since 2017 when you were pregnant with Mukeni. She's like, you've literally had like 7 different bodies since then. Because now she's just like, I've seen you go through at least 4 weight loss journeys. I've seen you go through so many being cancelled on social media. Like so many of them. It's just like, wow. Of life. So many. Yeah. That's one of the things I love most about social media and about being a content creator is that I have many witnesses to the story that is my life. And I really appreciate that.
Actually, that's my favorite thing about social media for sure.
I love it.
Yeah, and when you have the confidence to still write it how you want, because sometimes having witnesses gives pressure and not everyone always feels free that way. But when you do have that freedom, it's kind of like all these people can kind of mark, I remember this, I remember, and it feels really good.
And sometimes people remind you things which even you had forgotten. Like sometimes people are just like, oh, I remember the day when you came and told us you've quit your corporate job and you're going to pursue content creation full time, and you were saying you're nervous about how it's going to be. And I'm like, I literally do not remember like that, doing that story on that day. Do you know what I mean? But people remember, And some people even have screenshots from G 2017. I'm like, guys,
that's a baby. Or like maybe something goes on social media, people are bringing out screenshots, you're like, you had that on your phone. you had that on your phone just chilling.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Literally.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But also it's because it's like what you say is just what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the impact is on them. So it's easy. It's like you can remember other people's stuff more maybe than they do. Because it's impacting you. Yeah.
I wonder who I follow that much that I'm just like, oh, what they've said, I really, really just like mentally remember and clock it.
I can remember a lot of Melissa Wardrobe stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some stuff she said ages ago. I remember like years ago when she was just dating her husband now, and she was, I don't know what kind of day she had, and he had taken out to lunch because she was really upset. I randomly remember that.
Oh, really?
I don't know why, but I remember that.
Well, that's good. But do you remember like what she ate?
No, but I
what
remember
she said
that.
about what she ate.
Yeah?
What she said about what she ate.
No,
things
but
like
that was the important part of the lunch. That it was like she had a bad day or had day and he had taken her out.
I think
or maybe that was one of the few times when I saw she was dating, one of the few times where she started talking about her boyfriend, who's now her husband. Yeah,
she's lovely.
Her journey has just been so nice.
Yeah, I feel like I clocked her too late. Like I hadn't met you early enough because now I only literally started following her last year.
Yeah.
It was last year that Lydia told me about her.
Like I told you, we went to school together. So like I didn't know she was an influencer until like maybe a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
But yeah,
But you have been following her.
I've been following her.
I
Her
love
journey
that.
has been really nice.
That's cute.
Yeah, follow her. She's great.
Follow her, guys. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning into this episode. This is a dilemma episode which you guys love as much as we love. Yeah. I always feel like it's like we're tangibly impacting people's individual lives and also people who perhaps could relate to the issues that some of these women or men could be facing. Then you get a direct answer from us on what we would do in these situations. Yeah. Again, like we always say, we are not mini Jesuses, we are not Mother Teresa's. All we do here is present our opinions, our views, our ideas based off of our own experiences, okay? And then we always ask you guys to also tell us in the comments, what would you do in that kind of situation? So if you hear your dilemma listed here from one of the things that we read, check the comments as well, because maybe everyone else will also give you pointers that could perhaps help you in your situation, right? Yeah. All right, let's start off strong. All of these have been sent to us, by the way, on our Instagram. So if you're not following us on Instagram, please do. TMI Podcast KE, Murugi Munyi, Lydia, KM. K.M. Yeah, and there's also a dot after M, because people forget the M. Yeah, K.M. But there's no dot before K, isn't there?
No.
Okay, K.M. That's her name, okay? All right, so this lady says, quick question for Murugi and the married buddies, but I think anybody can be able to give their perspective. Been with my hubby for a year now. Question is on hubby, okay. Currently living with 2 of his brothers and 1 female cousin, plus my 1-month-old son. I do the house shopping and buy the daily food. I'm struggling because the expenses have doubled, if not tripled. How do I politely tell my hubby, since the last time I mentioned when one of his brothers offended me, he said, sitaki watu wa kwao. My husband is a great man, fantastic even. I'm just going through it. We live in a 2-bedroomed house, for context, plus my house girl. Where is everyone sleeping? I miss my freedom. I can't even watch TV in peace. His brothers are 27 and 22 respectively. She also says she's unemployed. Oh, are they unemployed? She just says unemployed. I guess the brothers are unemployed. So you're living in a 2-bedroom. There's you, your man.
Husband?
That's the question. Is it your hubby or is it your husband?
Because that's a big difference.
There is a big difference.
However, either way, you're in a relationship with this person.
A committed relationship.
And you have a child with this person. A conversation has to be had. It's mostly on the expenses. Because clearly you've already tried to talk about the people who are entering your home in an intense way. But especially the expenses part, if you are feeling burdened,
and also the freedom. First of all, I'm just thinking a 2-bedroom house. So let's assume her and her hubby and the son are in one room. That means the house help, female cousin, and the 2 brothers are all sharing one room. That seems crazy to me. Yeah, that's for me. That's already just like, even regardless of even the expenses, even if you are not covering the expenses, I feel like feeling like your home, you have freedom in your home to just like be you and your family. That's an essential for me. Secondly, I need for us to not gaslight ourselves into thinking that our issues are not real issues, because you see, as soon as she says the last time she brought up the conversation to her husband, he dismissed it by saying sitaki watu wa kwao.
So he's gaslighting her.
And then immediately afterwards, it's almost like you felt like you feel wrong for calling him out, because then she's like, he's a fantastic man, great even, I'm just going through it. So it's like you're trying to dim down how badly you have it and trying to be like, no, but he's really, really amazing. Is he that amazing if his response to your concerns and your needs was,
and if you can't
sitaki
talk to
watu wa kwao?
I find it bewildering that people can't speak to the partner they're with about their issues. Like that should be the first person to. What I would also say in this dynamic is there a time limit to this experience, because you're able to breathe through, like, okay, my cousins, they've gone through this or whatever, they're here for a month. You can know that, okay, this is coming to an end in a month. Or is it like, this is it?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that also changes things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I also don't know if it's about how politely you bring it up and more how truthfully and honestly you express how you're feeling. Like, obviously, you're going to do it in a respectful way, but I feel like a direct way would just be like, babe, I'd really like for us to talk about your family members who are living with us. I don't feel like I have the freedom in my home to be able to live how I'd like to. And also, it's getting really expensive for me. My expenses, literally the way you've said it for us, my expenses have tripled or / doubled. Can we please have a plan? Like, is there a timeline for how long they're going to be here or whatever? If his response is dismissive again, I feel like then you just need to make a decision as to, do you want to, like, first of all, if you guys are properly married, obviously you're not moving out to anywhere. But if you're not, do you want to not necessarily break up, but perhaps get your own space? I feel like that could be an option.
Yeah, it sounds like he's probably going to be dismissive again.
It does sound that way, yeah.
And that's why she's afraid of doing it, because if the first time was ignored, and clearly people are just kind of piling on, and first of all, he knows that you're the one who's paying shopping. How has that conversation not even come up?
Yeah,
how?
That's crazy, yeah. Or even me, what I would do, I'd just be like, oh, babe, since Nani and Nani are here, the three of them, it's really, so I'm going to need you to send me like 20,000. This is how much it used to cost, and this is how much it's costing now. It's a bit of a burden. So if you can supplement with like 20,000 per week, that would be really great. Yeah. And then also, let's just try and stop being apologetic about our needs and wants. You don't have to qualify or justify why you need and want certain things, because he's certainly not being apologetic about needing his family members to stay in your house, is he? He's not. You're the only one being apologetic. So just say it with your chest, baby.
I would say with your chest.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good luck, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Because that's tricky. Family. Okay, hi there. I guess this falls under a dilemma question, but I guess I just need some word of encouragement to cope. But a little recently, I was robbed at gunpoint, and I cannot sleep or do anything because I'm just really traumatized and have nightmares. I can't tell the police because what would they do, honestly? It was a very public place in town, which has me worried about what could have happened in private. I can't afford a therapist now, given my financial situation and unemployment. Please, any help would be considered, even if it's just words of encouragement. Thank you. Have a good day. I do have therapists that are free on my page. Just scroll down the pages in my post. I said I would pin it.
Yeah, please, she's going to pin it.
I'm pinning
today.
It right now.
Pin it right now, yes. And as she does that, yes, definitely go for the free therapy. There are definitely some free therapies that you can explore. That's one. Two, clearly you are experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder. It is normal after going through such a traumatic experience for you to not be able to sleep, for you to not be able to just like live life as usual. In fact, I can imagine it's like you'll go everywhere and just be like, someone does something or like you hear a loud sound or someone touches you wrongly and you're just like, oh my God, oh my gosh. That's perfectly normal. And the therapist will hopefully be able to hold your hand through it. Hey, yeah. I don't even know what more to encourage someone beyond that, because we do live in an unsafe world, let's say, because
our country is right up there.
Even just town, generally town.
Oh my God, town is just like you just go and you're just on guard. By the way, guys, that itself is not normal. I know if you've never stepped out of the country, you might not know, but going every single place worried that you're going to be harmed, like robbed, is not normal. It's not. It's just normal here.
Actually, you're so right. Because I remember being in the UK and I think I mentioned that I was just like, it's at night and I'm just walking and there are men, but I feel just safe. I just feel
different.
Okay. Yeah.
Women are everywhere in the world do have that. Like it's still unsafe everywhere. But the general thing of like, it's like I'm assuming to be robbed as long as I'm in public.
Oh yeah. And now it keeps adding up. Now you're a woman. Now you're out. Now you're in town. Now you're in downtown. It's like compounded.
It's like
unsafety.
Yeah. It's really traumatic just kind of having that tightness with you. So we're so sorry for that experience. I've pinned the free therapist on my page, so you just see the first post on my page. Just go through them, see who works for you, and definitely talk to someone. And in the spirit of that, if you are feeling any residue post mandamano, if you are arrested, if you are hurt or any way around that, even just being in that vicinity of potentially getting hurt can leave some wounds of trauma, and like maybe you're a bit more afraid now. Definitely speak to someone. If you can't afford a therapist, check the free therapist on my page.
Exactly. And if I can share a Bible verse that I cling to anytime I'm feeling fearful about anything that is happening or has happened, there's a verse, I'm not sure which one it is, but it says, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but he's given us a spirit of power, of love, and of sound mind. And literally sometimes I just repeat that out loud to myself, like when I'm just nervous. There are times, especially when you become a mom, you get this sudden fear of just like dying
Random
and leaving your
anxiety,
kids, and it's like anytime sometimes they go outside to play and I'm just like, what if a car is just passing? What if something just happens? What if someone just takes advantage of her? What if and the reality is that we can't prevent things from happening to kids, and it's just like in my mind, just like, am I gonna lock them in my house? Because what kind of a life is that? I might, right?
Yes.
Right? Because
why are they
sometimes
going to school?
And I'm like, in school, no one is just watching them 24/7 because there are like 20 other kids in the class. What if she needs something in that moment and someone is not? But the reality is that you need to let go and let God sometimes. And I just keep saying God has given us a spirit of power, of love, and of sound mind, and just clinging to that. But definitely explore the free therapy. Take a break from like your ordinary life things if that's a possibility. Like if you've still been going to work, if you don't have to go to town, don't. Exactly. Also, I would say reach out to people around you, maybe who can be able to give you the support. Like maybe for the next few times when you're going to work, can your man go with you, your brother, a cousin, or something like that? Whatever makes you feel safer. Yeah. Damn, sorry, babe. Okay. Here's another one. Hey, TMI. Me, I like when you sing, by the way. It's definitely TMI. That's just for you. I'm looking forward to your next What's TMI's opinion on /Hey Big Sis video. Here it is. My question is, what is your opinion on pregnancy before graduating campus? My friend got pregnant last year and we have just 1 year left to graduate. I'm happy for her that her baby daddy has stepped up and even went to her parents to claim the pregnancy. However, I also feel some negative emotions, like she's grounded herself and her life will never be how she wanted it to. I know this isn't true. I need to listen to you guys talk about it, please. I like that you've acknowledged your negative emotions, and I like that you've acknowledged that there's the positive side of like, wow, I'm really happy for you. He's acknowledged and what, and exactly, and that there's negative emotions. One thing that you've mentioned here about she's grounded herself and her life will never be how she wanted it to. Most of us, no one's life probably is how they wanted it to. I actually would say it's a smaller percentage that people's lives turn out how they imagine it's going to be, because there are many things that could happen in the future that you are absolutely not prepared for. That's the first thing that I would say. Secondly, vis-a-vis my opinion on like getting pregnant before graduation, I personally would say it's inconveniencing. It's inconvenient because obviously, like for me, when I got pregnant, I had to take a semester off, which means that I finished a semester after the people who I started university with. That was an inconvenience. It was also a slight inconvenience to have my, my finances being shared between me and this little baby who I now had to stay with. So whereas people in uni were able to just like party all the time, I literally just didn't have the time or the money or the energy for it. So for me, it was an inconvenience. However, I cannot project that on how it would be for everyone else. We don't know her life circumstance. We don't know what it is she's trying to achieve in life. Maybe other people don't have a problem deferring for a semester. Maybe other people have more financial resources to be able to cover those gaps. So, I mean, I don't know.
Gosh. This is the mentality that I had always. You get pregnant, your life is over.
Your life is
You
done.
have made a terrible decision. This is bad. Stop.
Yeah.
It's over. That's what I knew. Like being a teenager or having children when you're unprepared is the worst decision.
Yeah.
That's what I've always known. However, what I would say is that if you have a child quite young, majority of people are going to struggle through that. Either because they don't have enough support, financially they're not in the right place, mentally, all of that, they're not necessarily in the right place. There are stories like Joe where it's just like, it was inconveniencing is what Joe would say, because she had parents who were going to support her and all of that. There's some people who never describe that as inconvenience. It was the hardest time of their life. It was terrible, it was hard, and they would not advise you to do it themselves. So there's a chance that your friend's life does go that way, or there's a chance that it goes into like the most beautiful way and ends up being so amazing. The same way your life, despite not having a child, could go this tremendous beautiful way or no.
Yeah.
You know, in the future, you can't really determine. Things are going to be a little bit harder for her just because she has got someone who she has to take care of right this second. But the same... the fact that she's gonna, number one, she has the support of the guy, one, and two, she needs to have your support. So you might have some views around it. I completely agree. One of my friends had a baby when we were 16, and considering I believed that death comes after pregnancy as a teenager, I had to put that aside. And my job was, how can I support her? How can I be there for her? I'm actually the godmother of her daughter. So it's like, you just put that aside. You can't project all of that. And in fact, what she needs the most is people who are going to tell her, this has happened, but do you know what? Your life can turn out absolutely fantastic.
Exactly.
We are right here. We're going to support you, and we're in this together. That's what she needs at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't help how you feel, but what you project onto her and what you say to her, that you can change.
Exactly. I also feel like the concept of her life has now like not stagnant. What's the word that she used?
Her life is basically over.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she said her life, she's grounded herself and her life will never be how she wanted it to. Even though you said, I know this isn't true, but I feel like there's an extent to which I don't know whether we imagine that at the time at which now you decide to have kids, even if it's like 25 or 30 or 35, that at that moment you feel like, yes, I'm ready.
We know that's a scam now.
We know that is a scam because there are people who are even like in their late 30s who are still like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, you know? And so this, I feel like obviously the older you get and maybe you're more financially stable and, you know, you probably know yourself a little bit better. You are more maybe mentally and emotionally ready to handle a child, but it doesn't mean that because you're younger, it means that you're not. I don't think that's what it is. I feel like, as you've said, what your friend needs is just for you to be there for her.
Support her.
And if you personally do not want to get pregnant before you graduate, I hope you are taking, you take the precautions necessary to ensure that you don't end up getting pregnant before you graduate, because clearly that's an issue for you and that's perfectly fine. But I love that you're not necessarily projecting on her. Just be the friend she needs you to be right now.
100%.
And that's it.
Yeah, life could be amazing. Tomorrow, maybe she does something and then boom, life is free. Because once she has money, right, according to most people, when you have money, life is done. Like, you're good.
Exactly.
You never know.
Actually, everything about life, like, no one knows how it's going to turn out for like anyone. Like,
Majority of it.
I mean,
and that idea of like, you know, how you want your life, it is wonderful, but don't be a prisoner to the dreams of the 13-year-old who had no idea what it's like to be an adult, who had not lived at all. So it's like, you've got to live life with the experiences more than the dreams that you had when you were 12 years old. What does she know?
That is,
she has never paid a bill.
Literally.
And I'm going to hold myself hostage on what she wanted.
Because she wanted to be a lawyer. Now I must.
God. She didn't know a goddamn thing.
Yeah,
and she's lucky that I got her through the 20s, you know? So yeah, life is more about the experiences more than the dreams that you had.
I love that.
Hey, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing okay. No one has said, hey, big sister, so far. Ouch.
Girl.
I have a dilemma. My boyfriend and I are going through some weird problem. Well, last year, when we weren't really a thing, to be precise, in December, we were on a situationship break. Okay. And he decided to sleep with a girl he was talking to then. I got to find out and I forgave him.
For what? He wasn't your man. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. While ushering the new year, which we got to spend together, he decided to make things official and start a clean slate. Super. Fast forward, end of January, that girl he slept with realized she was pregnant and reached out to my boyfriend. God, I didn't know about this till sometime last week when I was going through his phone.
Wait, when is this dated? When is this dilemma dated?
12th May. I didn't know until I went through his... Sorry, guys, we haven't read this, so I am shocked.
We are equally just getting...
that's when I saw their conversation of how they got to abort the child.
Sorry about the laugh. It's just that so many twists and turns. Okay.
I don't know if that makes me more annoyed or the fact that I recall during the time he was not okay, meaning I was with him and he requested we take a break so that he could host that girl during the day. He went to pick up that girl during his lunch break, took her to his house for recovery. Then she left in the evening. So dishonesty is a theme.
Yeah, I feel like it's more
keeping that to you.
Okay, so this information where she's saying about he went to get her, she has found out on the phone.
Yeah.
But she found out on the phone he hadn't told her.
He hadn't told her.
Okay. Unpopular opinion. I feel like the problem already took care of itself. It's already been taken care of. There was a baby. The baby has been... there was a fetus, really. And that situation has been handled. So I feel like I would be more concerned about... Since then, has there been any, like now the communication or whatever between the two of them? Or is it something that seems like it ended then? Because if it did, really, to be honest, it's only that they were only dating 1 month. They were 1 month into dating.
Yeah.
Where at the point at which that happened, I feel like if it was me in that situation, if you feel deeply enough about it, bring it up. If it was me, I wouldn't necessarily bring it up. I would just let it be.
Yeah, I feel like this is something to be observant about who he is.
Yeah.
The baby part necessarily, as you're saying, is kind of neither here nor there. The baby isn't here now. Like, that's really the problem. Like, I was thinking that your boyfriend now has a baby with somebody else. So since that necessarily is not the problem, and when he slept with her, you guys weren't dating.
Yeah.
So those ones are there. But it's the keeping quiet. It's the fact that this girl, I guess, came to abort at his house. And then, goodbye in the evening. Me is the keeping things. I would keep my eye on that as a characteristic. Because in the dynamic of a relationship, that is something which me personally is a big deal. Like for things to be happening when it's like, you could tell me, because she's aborting it and she was pregnant before we were together.
But keeping in mind that this is a month in.
I 100% get it. I 100% get it. But for me, that is a thing I would keep an eye on as far as character-wise. So that you don't, if something like this ever happen again or he hides something else, you won't fall on the floor. You will see this as something to be like, okay, that's something he can do and keep to me. And also, he didn't tell you found out through his phone.
But also,
what are you doing in his phone? I think there are many problems.
Let's not ask questions. This is my question, is like, why are men like this? Like, why would he keep this information on his phone?
Weird.
Yeah, like, why would he keep the information on his phone?
Not away from her.
No, on his phone. Like, why, if this happened in January?
He didn't think that she would, this didn't happen maybe the abortion didn't happen immediately in January, I guess. She found out she was pregnant in January.
Still, I feel like even like that's something you should delete that night. Like as soon as the lady who has aborted has left your house, you need to have deleted it then immediately.
Not everyone is like calculated and deceitful in that way.
You need to be. If you're going to be deceitful, you need to be deceitful properly. Exactly, because that protects both you and me.
Morugi 2024. If you're going to be deceitful,
do a better job because then you're protecting yourself and you're protecting me and my emotions. Because like, did she need, if now, for example, this thing happened and like we never found out or whatever, and he continues to be a faithful man, an amazing guy, and like it never impacts our relationship, why would I ever have needed to know about it?
I think the only reason why it's impacting the relationship is because he never talked about it. There's nothing here really that happened apart from the fact that this happened and he didn't share about it. So yeah, I would say that if that's something he's going to hide, you just keep that in the back of your mind that's happening. Also, why are you checking his phone? Is there more going on?
Yeah, what's happening? What's really happening?
Let
us know, baby. Let us know. Okay. This lady says, would you advise me on a matter that's making me uncomfortable kindly? 1, I live with this man. We've dated for 2 years now, but he hasn't officialized things. Dek ye huenda shags kwao nabaki na hii solo. Which is normal if you're just dating, I would say.
Really?
Yeah. Where would you go to someone's shags?
Okay, that's a big deal to people, I guess.
Yeah, that's a big deal. For me, it's like, if you're going to someone's shags, this is like my husband, or it's like, yeah. Or at least we're engaged. It can't just be a boyfriend. Number 2, tukiwa na disagreements, he doesn't talk ever. Number 3, he doesn't want kids. He keeps saying he's not ready for kids. Number 4, he doesn't approve of anything I say. Ata kwa house, he buys stuff of my preference. I feel like he's selfish, only cares about his opinions. Mine don't matter. Advise me, please, and hide my identity. So stressed up, Nikama, it's been 2 years of waste.
Leave.
I feel like it's been 2 years of experiencing what it's like to date someone who hates you.
Leave.
Yeah.
Leave.
That's the only advice we have for you.
No other way. Leave.
So he doesn't want what you want.
I left at no kids.
Point 1.
I left at no kids.
Yeah.
No kids. I think that's it.
And also, you haven't given us even one reason why you're with this person.
And guess
like,
what?
If
at least, most of the time, if you're living with someone and someone doesn't go shags, you don't leave them.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't. That's weird.
Yeah, if you're living with someone already, I feel like that's a committed...
You guys would find ways to make plans together versus just being left at home.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Leave.
Also, just the fact that in your message, you haven't said with like, oh, we have this and this together. It's like amazing between us. He's a really good guy. But there's this one issue. No. Literally, it's like issue. You feel like it's been 2 years of waste.
And even if it was perfect, those are enough.
Those are enough. Honestly, just leave him. Also, to prevent it being 3 years of waste, 4 years of waste, 5 years of waste, leave now. So that at least it's only 2.
Save money right now, like slowly as you build your money to move out so that you're comfortable, like to be able to move out without having to be shana sijui about what and what.
Yep. Leave, sweetie. Let's do the next one, guys. Hey, TMI. First, thanks for what you guys are doing here. Really enlightening many of us out here. Thank you. We're glad. Concerning the questions on STD and STI, anytime we have sex with my partner, after having not done it for a while, I always get an infection, which we take the medication, both of us, though self-prescribed. Then she put a laughing emoji, even though I don't find that funny at all. Until the infection disappears. What could it be?
So what medication are you taking?
Yeah.
What's the infection? What have you just taken medicine for?
Yeah, it could be like maybe the thrush. Is it thrush? Is it... I don't know.
Thrush is not an infection, is it?
I don't know.
No.
Or maybe it's like bacterial, maybe it's like whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you've had enough UTI kind of like things, it's like you know what medication to take. So maybe those are the ones that you're using like, what are they called? Not virgin.
Vaginismus, whatever.
That one.
Put
out.
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
But either way, it's like, first of all, stop self-diagnosing. And the next time you get it, go to a doctor. Let them tell you what it is and tell them that you've been going through this like consistently for a problem. Actually, you can DM Dr. Chris because he said people do that. Message him and tell him what your symptoms are, what has been happening, and he might be able to advise.
Exactly.
His
page is Dr. Chris Obwaka. Yeah. Check that out. Okay. Another one? Okay, guys, here's another one. Hi, Lydia and Murugi. I have an issue that I don't know how to go about it. My best friend, female, of 3 years, has a crush on my man and went ahead to tell him and ask for sex with him. I know this because the lady told me herself after a few days of asking him, and the guy's answer was she should let him know when he is ready. I hurt because I trusted these people a lot. How do you advise me to handle it? Obviously, the only way you can handle it is break up with him, break up with her, because these people don't love you and they don't care about you. People who love you would never do that to you.
Never do that.
Yeah,
to
and
you.
I know it's painful. It hurts. It's literally like betrayal of the highest order. And I'm so sorry that it happened to you. But in fact, it's better that it happened now.
That friend,
and like
wow.
that. Yeah.
But that nigga.
I know. And she came and told you. Like, why would the friend come and now tell you? I think she was just trying to spite you. I don't think she was your friend at all. She definitely was never your friend. Yeah. And your man saying she should tell you.
That is ridiculous.
So sorry, sweetheart.
Yeah,
so sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, guys. You are the guys.
I'm the guys.
Guys, are you here?
I'm here.
I have a question. I'm 24 years old. I was dating this guy who was in his 30s. Okay, 24. He's in his 30s. So recently I disclosed to my boyfriend how much savings I have. Mistake number 1. As we were talking, as you know, he's my man and I had trusted him. Kidogo, after a few days, he asked me to loan him a certain amount of money, which I later refused because I wasn't comfortable. He later then broke up with me, claiming he can't stay with someone mwenye hawezi msaidia. Was I on the wrong?
No.
1,000% not.
No.
Yeah.
No, he was taking that opportunity to try and like use you and manipulate you.
Yeah.
And you stood on business. And the fact that when he tried to break up with you, you didn't let him manipulate you into why you stood on business.
You stood on business, girlie.
Ooh, girl, you dodged a bullet. Oh
Exactly.
my God.
I always feel like I just feel like finances should remain separate unless people are like married or close to getting married. If he was genuinely about just like, oh, I need help, he would have asked for that help before you disclosed how much savings you have.
And
why is
even
it
if
when
he
you've
does,
disclosed? Yeah.
Even, let's say he does.
Yeah.
The fact that your value and his commitment to you is dependent on whether you say yes.
Nope.
Is the red flag.
Nope.
Is the red flag, and you are a smart lady for not. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, thank you.
That road.
Also the concept of like I have savings worth 10 million, meaning that means I can loan you 5 million.
No.
That's not no. As my mom
no.
always says, you have more right to say no to anyone's request than they even have to ask you. And someone who cannot respect that, that's not someone you want to be with. So you definitely are not in the wrong.
And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Don't tell people your savings.
Yeah,
don't
please
tell a boyfriend your savings.
Don't, sweetie. Don't. Thank you, and good night.
Hey girlies, I am a dedicated listener of your podcast and have been inspired by the insightful discussions that you bring to us. I have a request. Can you please talk about the challenges that lastborns face? As the lastborn in my family, I have personally experienced challenges that society ignore and overlook. Talk about being the slave of the family and a maid, being unseen, being yelled at by both parents and siblings, and being treated like your opinions and voice don't matter. There are a lot of these, and I'm sure other lastborns relate. Not to compete with firstborns, we already know they face a lot. But let's talk about how some firstborns get so close with parents and you are just there, belittled. Some firstborns loved parenting us. When we are being beaten by them. Please let us address this, because society talks about the firstborn and the rebellious secondborn, but not much is not said about lastborns. I love you girls. Have a peaceful day.
Oh my God.
I think that's true.
You think that's true?
Actually, I know that that's true. In that, like, there's difference. It's. Yeah, let me
put your thoughts together. Okay, fine. I feel like we need to. I don't want to invalidate what you've gone through, because what you've gone through is real, and I'm sure there are many lastborns who experience the same thing. However, I don't feel like it's necessarily a lastborn thing. More, it's like the conversation is around toxic families, because a toxic family, it's going to materialize in many different ways. It could be the firstborn being parentified, which is toxic in its own way. It could be the lastborn being treated like a slave or a maid. But I feel like it's not necessarily the being the lastborn that necessarily means that you're going to go through that thing. For example, in our home, our lastborn has always been treated as like the most precious silver plate of china that is just such a cute thing that cannot be, like, she has been babied her whole life. Like, everyone loves baby Nelly so much. Even till now, sometimes we still call her baby Nelly, because to us she's just a baby, and she's been treated as like the cutest, sweetest thing forever and ever. But I recognize that that's not everyone's story, and so because there's both of those, I feel like what makes the difference is how toxic is the family. And maybe we have actually done an episode about toxic family members. I think that's more the conversation, because I feel like in homes where lastborn is being treated like that, chances are a secondborn is going through something toxic as well. The firstborn is also going through something toxic. Maybe even the unknowing maid or whatever is going through something toxic. I feel like it's the toxicity of the family vis-a-vis necessarily it just being that you are a lastborn.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
Well, 100%. I definitely agree with that. However, that's not something you would say if we're talking about firstborns. That's the difference. The weight of what firstborns go through, clearly, is held heavier than what anybody else goes through. So even when we talk about firstborns, everyone just says check on them. There's no discussion about what family you are from or what's going on. So there is definitely a disproportionate weight that's put on the issues that firstborns go through versus lastborns. Because as you're saying, and which is actually true, a lot of lastborns definitely face different things. The lastborn with my mom, as in their family, my Uncle Do, the precious child of life, which is what a lot of lastborns are like that. So
is Uncle Do the hot uncle?
Yes.
Oh, right. Got it. Just confirming. Yeah.
So there's a lot of lastborns who what they say is like they're babied and stuff like that. But what I can definitely say that aligns across the board is that lastborns don't have a say. We're making decisions. If we're making decisions, should they? When we're making decisions, your opinion is least considered. I see that. I definitely see that. And that bit of being unseen, in that, it's like you are babied, but we've decided who you are. You're that category. But really in like adulthood, you're not bringing anything to the table as in trying to give us an opinion. I know my sister for sure, even though we are two of us, she feels like my voice is definitely heard a lot more versus hers. Yeah. So I've seen that a lot. Yeah.
Is that problematic?
It is to not be heard.
I feel like, you see, in some cases, let me... This is what I feel like the reason why people don't take firstborn issues versus lastborn like with the same weight is that usually the lastborn ones feels more of like a take me seriously, guys, take me, I'm also a serious person, I'm an adult, versus the firstborn, it's just like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, someone help them. But I recognize how that in itself can be very problematic, and it can be infantilizing to like lastborns to feel that way. Is it the cross that people want to die on to defend that and like to have conversations about? I don't know. Zach, by the way, has a similar story to what she's describing, because he's the lastborn in his mom's family. He's the lastborn, but in his dad's family, he's the firstborn, which is interesting. But he grew up in his mom's family, and so there are many ways in which he experienced that kind of just like one who's being sent everywhere. People just don't take your opinion. For him, as he grew up, though, that changed because he's the only boy. So even though he's the lastborn, they still listen to his opinion. But there are many ways in which I'm just like, wow, what a lastborn struggle that is, you know?
For me, it's the hill I'm willing to die on as far as like making more space for my sister, for sure. Like if she's not being heard, she's not being seen, and it's because I do have a dominant voice, but that doesn't mean that I can't make space. So I feel like if you are firstborn, if you are of whatever other place, your lastborn might be feeling this way, and it would be great for us to make space, because I don't think that it needs to be we can't look at firstborns and lastborns. No, both conversations can exist at the same time, but it's just like the lastborn struggle is very different. A lot of lastborns actually Lydia Wanjiru, the other day when we were going to the TMI social, I was just like, Lydia, you're going to be late. She's like, you're shouting at me and I'm a lastborn. Ntalia sahi. And so to give a nod to, she's a princess. She does not get stressed.
And you see, this is the thing.
There's a big lastborn thing that is that. Yeah. So then it's like, lastborn, first of all, let's come together and see what issues there are. And maybe this might be an issue with your family, and it's okay to address it. Yeah. But maybe a lot of lastborns might not see their way that way, because I know for sure Princess Nelly has a different recollection.
But also, you see, the thing is that with whatever struggle it is that you are identifying with, there's almost a sense in which, like, if you take the positive aspects of being the lastborn, then you can't only have the positive. This other one is also going to be there. If you're going to lean on but I'm just a lastborn, and it's just like, guys, take care of me, and poor taking care of you, and whatever, you're not being given much responsibility. Then when it's time for the negative aspects, it can be like, no, but guys, I know I'm a lastborn, but I don't want to be treated like a lastborn. But when it's the other aspect, you're leaning on that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like firstborns who, like now Angie never even complains about it, like the pressure of being a firstborn, because she loves that one of just like, me, I'm the firstborn, I'm the boss of everyone, which like she seems to enjoy. But again, that's why I said it's also about how like toxic your family is, kind of thing. Do your parents emphasize those differences between you guys, or do they like encourage you guys to just be like, no, you're all my daughters, I love you all, kind of thing? We are always joking with my mom about how she treats Nelly versus how she treats the rest of us. And it's like a running joke, and I don't feel like anyone feels bad. It's just like, she's Nelly,
Princess Nelly.
Princess Nelly.
So what I would say is that it's not to say that you can't enjoy both, but you need to be aware, like what Joe is saying.
Be aware.
If you're gonna come here as like in conversations, it's like, okay, when you're okay, so let's say you are asked your opinion, you're on your phone, you're doing TikTok, you're not here with us. Then when it is time to speak up, remember that your reputation is going to precede you. So then people are going to see it like you who's always, it's like, so if it's a sense of like being seen and being heard, there is a way you can put yourself up that way. But if you are in a dynamic where people are purposely and intentionally putting you down, that's definitely a conversation to speak to personally. But I hear you and I validate your struggle, because if you do feel like you're not seen and whatever, me as a firstborn, being seen is a personality trait. So I can imagine what it's like to be robbed of that.
I wonder sometimes, it's like how our position as like in the family has shaped how much of who you are right now.
Do you follow that TikToker who talks about how each one, it's a whole thing.
But in comedy, kind of like.
No, but statistically, like, last borns are more likely to be like entrepreneurs or things like that. Yeah, like they go through like first born, second born, third born, and they just give facts about it based on studies that have been done. Where the position you're born in determines
so
far
much
more than we actually care to.
And so for me, I'm just like, first, if I was not a second born, would I still be the same? And then also, if based off of like how my older sister is, if she was different, would it have changed how I am how I show up as a second born? And would that then have changed like the decisions I've made in life and how I show up as a person and how like
100%. Yeah.
But I guess you could say that about anything. Like so much about like, I mean, if my dad hadn't been this way, if my mom had taken that job versus this job, would it have...
I feel like nurture is way less than nurture. Yeah. I feel like nature is way less than nurture.
Yeah.
Big
so
time.
True.
I feel like just the environmental factors, the way that they shape you is wild. Now, what I would say is like things like talent. There are some things where it's just like, okay, this person is inclined. However, all of the nurturing now like puts it up and makes it like a big thing, because there are many singers who are not at the top of their game because it wasn't nurtured. Yeah. Yeah. So all of those were complete, she said.
Are there guests that we can have who can talk about this firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, fourthborn?
Who's a famous family?
And then also, does it depend? Does it also depend on like, is that last born a boy or a girl? And are the first born, like, do you know what I mean? It's like if these ones are 2 boys then 2 girls, or if it's 2 girls then 2 boys, or if you're all girls or if you're all boys, that probably also has an impact in terms of how you...
I feel like where it's 2 girls or 2 boys, that is where the position matters the most, because the only variant different from you guys is the position. Versus like boy and girl, it's like the girl might be treated completely differently just because she's a girl versus a boy. Yeah. Food for thought.
Imagine if you had a brother.
Me, I always think so. When Mom and Tim go together, I was like,
just
like, absolutely not. My mom is one of those people who is deeply satisfied with her 2 and done.
Beautiful girl. My girls. Every 2 seconds. You know my girls. Yeah. I always tell my girls. She's obsessed with her girls.
She definitely is. She always says that. So 2 things my mom says I get wrong on the podcast. Today she was telling me. 1, my mom is 58 and I always say she's 54.
Oh, yeah, you do always say she's 54.
54 was a big year for her. I don't know what you want me to do. It was just a big year, and I've really been stuck to that. But she just turned 58. That's one.
Wow.
2, she said that I should have elaborated a bit more as to why I would die for Aggie and not her.
Well then, go on then.
Because she told me she loves me so much and she would die for me, but she was like, but we know you only die for Aggie. Anyway, my mom had told us that she would never want us to put ourselves in a position to like die for her, because she's lived her life. We should at least live to where she has lived. So that's what she said. Like, that's not a thing that should ever expect of us. Yeah. So that's why I said just Aggie, not because I don't love my mom. Obviously, I love my mom and I'll die for my mom. But that's why. What else did she tell me? Oh, because she said that when she relocated, the gap between when she left and when we next met her, she said I said over 3 years, but I hadn't. I said it was almost 3 years, because I think she left like maybe April or something like that, and then it was like 2 years, and then we left I think in November or something.
So 2.5 years.
Yeah, 2.5 years. There you go. Damn.
Thank you, Mom. We hope that has clarified
satisfying
everything.
For you, Mama?
Fantastic. Okay, here's another one, guys. Hello, TMI. I am a 20-year-old who has been in a relationship for 2 years, and the time for the sex has finally arrived. I love that she said that. The time for the sex has finally arrived. I am looking into contraception options. That is amazing, and I love that for you. What would you say about contraceptive pills, not emergency pills, contraceptive pills?
Yeah, I was on the pill before. And for me, like, just like the hormones, no. Like, it just didn't work for me. And by the way, it works for many people. So that's the thing with contraceptives. Like, don't just get opinions of random people. It's like, it's good to actually go get checked. For me, I was like, I don't want to be on hormones after a while. But it was just like, there, but I don't know what it is that I felt that didn't work for me. I wanted to get on something that was non-hormonal.
Yeah, definitely. I would recommend going to see a doctor. We, of course, recommend Dr. Chris Obwaka. We can leave his contacts in the description. I feel like contraception, like you said, is a very personal decision. And there are many things, by the way, that go into deciding what contraception you should be on. So when you go to the doctor, one of the things they'll do is like check, like, do you have a regular period and things like that? Do you struggle with like hormonal acne? Because depending on how your hormones already are reacting in your body, they could recommend hormonal contraception or they might not recommend hormonal contraception. It's not for everyone. So that's one of the things that they will look at. Also, I feel like as I've gotten older, I have become so much more aware of the impact of hormones on our body in terms of how I feel, how I look, the things that I'm able to be involved in, my energy, my skin, my hair. Literally, as women, our hormones are like, I would say like they are super,
everything.
They are literally everything. Even in terms of like when you want to have a child, how your body takes pregnancy, like just so many different things. Even it can impact birth and even your postpartum period. So please go and see a doctor before you decide. Also for me, pills have never been an option because I am a forgetful person. So that is one thing that you should also keep in mind. Yeah,
You're
are you the kind of person?
You've done it wrong.
That's an issue because with pills, it's like you need to take it daily and at the same time every single day. So if you know you're the kind of person who forgets, or you're the kind of person who maybe you spend time, like sometimes you're at your place, sometimes you sleep at your boyfriend's house, sometimes you're at your mom's, next time you're at your grandma's, then perhaps it might not be for you. So please just see a gynecologist. Also, if you go online to kasha.co.ke, they have like a mini test that you can take. I think they still have it. Do they still have it, Nancy? They must, right? They should have it. Yeah. If you go online, there's like a quick test you'll take. It's like 2 minutes long or something like that. And you basically answer some basic questions and they kind of like recommend what contraception they think could work for you. So that could be also another tool that you explore. But fantastic that you're thinking of getting on contraception before you have sex. Like I could cry. It's literally sexy. Makes me so happy. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you so much. So much.
That's great. Okay, this is another one. Hello, TMI. Thank you for the good advice. I have a problem of self-discovery. I do not know what I want in life. I do things based on people's opinions. I recently got pregnant and I have been wanting a baby, probably out of pressure. I'm 24, by the way. I terminated the pregnancy because of the advice that I was given by people, and now I regret it. I feel like trapping my man in order for me to get pregnant. Bracket, it is not about trapping the man. You just said, I feel like trapping my man. I just need a baby because I feel guilty about the abortion. I did not make an informed decision. I have a job not so well paying. I want to get pregnant again, but I'm sure if I'm ready. I do want a baby.
Don't have the baby.
Listen, this is a really good question that I heard, and it's changed everything for me. Don't ask someone, do they want a marriage or a husband or a wife? Don't ask them if they want a baby. Ask them if they're ready to be a wife or a husband, and if they are ready to be a parent. Are you ready to be a parent? Let me give you a good picture of what being a parent is like, because I'm one. Waking up in the morning the way you'd be waking up until 10 in the morning, out. Are you ready for that?
It's more around 5:45, 5:50 about
your check is not just yours. Also, it's illegal to treat them badly. You go to jail. You go to jail if you leave them on the street. Like, we will find you and lock you up for the rest of your life. Are you ready to be a parent? For all of your life to be focused on like keeping these children alive. The anxiety that Joe talked about, there is so much beauty in it, but it's not from this energy that you're speaking in. Oh my God, my therapist has gathered me. Like, if you're going to romanticize having children, romanticize everything. Romanticize the waking up,
your
romanticize
swollen
the sleepless
boobs.
nights, romanticize the sore nipples when you're breastfeeding, romanticize pregnancy and giving, romanticize it all, so that when you go into it, you're not like, oh my God, I thought this would be, no. Yeah. It would be, I don't think you're ready. And if you make decisions based on what other people's opinion are, based on that alone, I don't think you're ready to be a parent.
Absolutely, 100%. Also, getting pregnant and having a baby is not going to negate the guilty feeling you have of having had the abortion. I feel like if you are feeling guilty about the abortion, you need to deal with that in a mature, reasonable way, which is you need to make peace with it. You need to go to therapy. You need to
Def.
deal with that PTSD, because having a baby is not going to cancel out that other one
it's not like
that
one
you
for
cancelled.
one.
Yeah. And it's not like God will be like, oh, that's there. Oh, let's bring that one back. No, this is a whole other child. Yeah. So definitely it's not going to address that issue. Also, just that reasoning of I want to get pregnant and have a baby now because I'm feeling guilty about that abortion. That alone is enough to just tell
You're
you,
24,
baby, you
baby,
definitely, you don't need to be.
take care of yourself, go to therapy,
Yeah.
work, live a life, enjoy yourself, travel. There's so much life to live, to be thinking about, or let me just have a baby now because I feel guilty about not doing it right.
Exactly.
If people pressured you then right now take your time about trying to make this other decision now.
Exactly. And I feel like definitely take time in therapy or learning, growing, to be able to be in a place where you have to ask yourself, what is it about? Do I not trust myself enough? When I make a decision, I do not trust myself enough to be like, yes, this is what I truly feel, without me having to be like, Lydia, what do you think? Then I do exactly what you say. Oh, Nancy, what do you think? Then I do exactly what you say. I feel like that has a lot to do with self-trust, maybe even your self-esteem, your self-confidence. You need to work on all those before you bring a baby into the world, because honey,
the benefit of having like not being childless right now is that you get to see the truth of what comes with parenting. Like you get to see in a realer way. And as I said, there's clearly so much beauty to it, so much, and still why I want to be a mom. However, before you make that decision, my good friend, think about it.
I love when she says my good friend.
Really? Okay, let me do this last one. It's kind of a long one. Yeah, okay.
Does it end? Please confirm it finishes before
all of those apparently do, but they just don't. They're not asking a question after. It's just, and then I went to his apartment. So what do you want?
So what do you want to do? So you're already at the apartment.
When you send a dilemma, please kind of leave like what do you want us to tell you? What do you want to do? Or because some of them we've read today is like, it's just left.
Put a question, like if your question is, should I leave or should I go?
Something.
Or should I stay?
Know what you want advice for.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's saying, hello TMI, I have an issue with my mom. I'm 23. I have 2 months baby living at my boyfriend. By the way, this is a long one. My mom knows about this, and the reason, brackets, I had issues with my landlord and she asked me to vacate. And since I was heavily paged, I couldn't look for a house. Mind you, it was mid-sem, so finding a house is always tricky. That's why I had to move in with my man, being the easiest option. I later moved my bed and belongings to my brother's place. We had agreed with my man that we will not stay together until we get married. Mom is in Qatar and I have 2 siblings. Mom wants me to stay with them at my BF's place because it's where I am staying right now. I told her it's not possible unless she finds us a house that we'll call our own our own. But my mom was leaving since she had sold everything and relocated to my shosho's place, meaning Sahi Hatuna Kwetu. She is skeptical with the idea of finding us a home, claiming that, God, Swahili sanifu, here I come. Nimeolewa haezi nitoa kwa bwanangu.
Also, because you moved in with your man, that means now umeolewa.
Okay.
Problematic.
Now she has a grudge with me because I said no about living with my siblings at my man's place. For closure, my siblings are at their granny side, their dad. Like we have 4 kids, 2 are from different dads. Okay, mine is deceased. Mom feels like her other 2 kids are not being... Sorry, it's another page. Are not being treated well at their grannies. One is in grade 7 and she is boarding, and the other is in grade 3. As their big sister, I have no issue staying with my siblings, just not on my mom's place. Mom is not giving room for negotiation. She doesn't want to consider other options. Imagine she has even suggested that I look for a single studio for my grade 3 bro, akue anakaa huko, anakuja kukula, anaenda kulala. Like seriously, after which landlord would allow a small child aishi peke yake, but my African mom won't listen. She has concluded that I don't care about her kids. What do I do?
That sounds incredibly difficult. I don't think, you're not your siblings' parents. That's the reality. You are not your siblings' parents. And even though this is a difficult situation, I don't think the responsibility is on you to find them accommodation. I feel like if you feel like it's the right thing to do, you could work towards like getting, like you said, you have no problem living with them. It's just you don't want to live with them at your man's house. I feel like you could just find another place to live. Although, did she say she has a 2-month-old child?
She's pregnant.
My God, pregnancy just adds an added layer of just like
it's
discomfort,
really and to not feel like it's doomsday when someone gets pregnant.
I'm always just like,
I have to remind myself that you're married. Oh, this is a good thing now.
I have to remind myself to congratulate people when I find out they're pregnant. I'm just like, really?
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry, congratulations. Yeah, I'm sorry. And that doesn't mean that now, of course, there's a lot of people who like want kids and maybe are not able to or whatever. But for me, I'm just like, especially if you're in a situation like this one where it's like clearly there are so many things in your life you're still trying to figure out. It's just like, it's a lot. I feel like absolve yourself of the responsibility of needing to be the parent to your grade 7 and grade 3 brothers. I feel like that is not your responsibility. It's unfortunate that your mom feels like it is, and also unfortunate that she is not willing to get you a place to stay with your, like she wants you to stay with your brothers, but she didn't want to get you the place for you to stay with your brothers. And that's the part I don't understand.
There's no consideration of your pregnancy, your relationship dynamic.
Yeah, no. And I think it's a good decision for you not to bring your brothers to your man's place, because one, that just feels like it would be an invasion of privacy. It's literally his place. Yeah. It's not your place. Yeah. So
I feel like your mom is projecting. Yeah. She's projecting some sense of responsibility on you because she's powerless in actually doing what she can do for her own kids. Because if her children are being mistreated somewhere else, like, why are they there? Like, then that will be that she left. And, all of that stuff will now is feeling on her.
Which
so then it is on her. Like, you're a parent, you're the one who's supposed to be taking care of your kids, but you've left, which people do. Even us, my mom left and we were taking care of someone else. But now when you're in that helpless situation, it can't be somebody else's problem. And especially in this dynamic where you actually aren't in a place to take care of your siblings. You're not able to. I know your mom is going to be upset with you now. It's not going to be a happy situation right now, but everything that she's making as an option is ridiculous. Renting a studio house for a child, no one is going to allow that. But then, and also, he comes and eats and goes and sleeps there. But who's looking after him?
Yeah.
Who's making sure he's taking to school and cleaning and... Yeah, so
no.
I know this is a tricky place for your mom, but I think it's a good decision to stand on business and say no.
Yeah. Also, I feel like whenever we talk about setting boundaries with family, having difficult conversations with family, it usually comes down to like one decision and one conversation at some point. And if in that decision or in that conversation, you're unable to stand up for yourself and be like, actually, I've thought about this and unfortunately, this is not something that I can do right now because of X and Y and Z. Usually, if you're not able to, in that one instance, it ends up being now it's a lifelong thing of my mom always knows she can take advantage of me. She's already sent my brothers to my house. They're at my door with their suitcases. Being able to stand up for yourself in this kind of situation could be life-changing for what your relationship with your mom looks like going forward. There might be a difficult part where maybe she refuses to talk to you, maybe she cuts you off, maybe like your relationship becomes difficult with your brothers, but hopefully eventually it'll be a thing of like, I respect you as an adult, a pregnant adult who's in a relationship, and I recognize that perhaps that was too much for me to be asking of you. It could be that, it could be something else, but girl, you just stand on what you believe to be right.
I think you should. And also it's definitely your siblings should know that it's just a situation you can't get in. And no, you're not married. And absolutely no, you're not married. And you could easily
leave. If you're also interested in cultivating a continued relationship with your brothers, you could also keep going to check on them where they are staying at their grandfather's place or whatever. What support can you offer then? And maybe when you're saying no to your mom, you could just be like, Mom, listen, I'm not able to do this as you had asked. However, I'll be happy to go check on them weekly. I'll be happy to call them frequently to make sure, that they are getting whatever. I'll be happy to just list the things that you'd be able to do, which is comfortable for you to be able to actually do, as opposed to like you're being coerced to do it.
That's a really good idea. I would say that. Do what you can. The other bit, leave it.
Exactly.
Woo! Dilemma episodes could be like 2 hours.
Literally 2 hours.
I could do it.
And wow. Sometimes it helps to put things in perspective and recognize that, like when you're just walking on the streets, everyone is going through like a something you have no idea about. Like that person is being beaten by their man. That person, their mom has said that they're never leaving their house. That other person, gee, what's happening? These are like...
And the really severe, like people are really suffering. One of the reasons why I'm so keen on people going to therapy, not necessarily about how you feel, is that the collective will be better. The standard of human fabric will be higher, because now it's just like pain on pain on pain on more pain on more pain on more pain, you know, it makes me really sad. But yeah, people are going through a lot. We hope we've been able to help you. And sometimes when we say things like leave, it's just like, oh, it's so easy. It's not like we understand that's so easy, but that's our advice. That's our advice.
Yeah, the modalities of like now how it's going to happen, how many months it may take, where are you going to go afterwards. Obviously,
that's life.
That's just life, and that's what you need to figure out. But as our advice is, leave.
Definitely.
That's just what we would say. We really hope that we have helped you, whoever the people who sent in these dilemmas. Sometimes when you guys send us dilemmas, we respond directly in the DMs. Sometimes we use them on our stories. So again, follow us on Instagram. And sometimes we use them here. And we hope that they've been helpful to whoever has been listening in.
Yeah, it's been helpful to us as well. Sometimes it's like I feel like the dilemma episodes help me see my own growth as far as how I see life, how I'd approach things,
how I respond to things as well.
And I feel like I'm getting more and more grounded in myself. Yeah, look at me being excited about the advice I'm giving to other people.
I love it so
thank
much.
you so much for trusting us, guys. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.